Magik recently had her first ever solo series, and it was really good. Written by Ashley Allen, who is one of the most up-and-coming writers at Marvel in my opinion, we're going to break down the first issue of this 10-issue run, and if you end up liking it, comment for a part 2. We open with a mutant girl being brutally kidnapped by a mysterious figure in the middle of the night, and then we quickly shift gears to Magik frantically waking up, having had a reoccurring nightmare of the Dark Child killing all her loved ones. After getting out of bed, she's greeted by the rest of the X-Team with a birthday surprise. However, Magik is far from celebratory and catches word of this disappearing mutant on the news, choosing to go check it out for herself instead of celebrating her birthday with the team. We're then brought to a funeral service being held for the kidnapped mutant, where we're introduced to a young boy named Cal, his mutant sister Ren, and their grandma. Cal and his sister were good friends with the now deceased mutant. However, after paying their respects, Cal's grandma carved some form of incantation on the side of the casket. Outside the funeral home is an anti-mutant protest. However, Magik arrives just in time, as shortly after portaling in, we see a horde of shadowy monsters start attacking the crowd, seemingly only going for the mutants. While Magik does kill these monsters by the dozen, one of them is able to grab Cal's sister Ren and takes her through a portal of their own, which Magik immediately jumps into as well, chasing after her. Inside this mysterious realm, we're introduced to an unnamed man with the hands and feet of a bird. Now, out of curiosity, I checked to see if this was maybe a mythological figure of sorts, and the closest thing is the Russian folklore Gamayan, which does fit the script here, but for consistency's sake, we're gonna call him Birdman. Not only does Birdman have the ability of never being able to get a mani-pedi, he also is using some form of magic to control the bullets that shoot out of his revolver, and he does some serious damage to Magik when she first arrives. Birdman mentions only needing one more mutant to, quote, break the seal, and this is quickly cleared up as back on the surface, Cal's grandma tells Cal that centuries ago, their family placed 5 seals as a way to trap the entity known as Liminal, and if all 5 break, his chaos will be released onto the world. While trying to reinforce the seal using an incantation, she also tells Cal that it's their family's duty to protect the seal, a duty that would have been passed down to him when he came of age. But most importantly, she tells him he cannot trust the Dark Child, having stated shortly before that with Magik there, 2 prophecies are colliding, meaning neither can be filled. Back down below, the fight with Big Bird continues, and we learn that Ren, Cal's mutant sister, isn't dead, and she attempts to kill the Feathered Man by using some form of her Banshee power. However, it doesn't affect him at all, and now she's dead. Refusing to lose this battle, Magik lets the Dark Child take slight control of her, just enough for her to close the gap on Birdman, where she then uses a spell to stop him from speaking, rendering his magic bullets useless, and she even gets in close enough to slice off one of his hands. However, with one hand left, Birdman brings this fight back into the real world, and he has just enough time to let off one last bullet, killing Cal's grandma and breaking the first of the 5 seals. Birdman disappears back into the ground, but now having lost his best friend, sister, and grandmother all in nearly one day, Cal swears to stop the monster killing his family, and that's where this issue ends, but Cal and Magik's story begins. I truly hope I did this story justice because it was a phenomenal read, and like and subscribe for a part 2.